AI. It's everywhere these days.
Oh, absolutely.
On our phones, in our cars, even helping doctors, like diagnose stuff.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
But, have you ever, stopped to think about the downsides?
The potential downside.
Yeah, what if this tech, it's supposed to make life easier, but it creates new problems?
Well, that's what we're looking at today.
Exactly. We're diving into this piece. It's from liberties.u.
Okay.
It's called 7 Disadvantages of Artificial Intelligence Everyone Should Know About.
Catchy title.
Right. And liberties.u, they're a human rights watchdog.
Oh, interesting.
So they're coming at it from this, like how AI might impact our society and our freedoms.
That's a crucial perspective. We definitely need to consider that.
Yeah, and the first thing they jump into is unemployment.
Okay, yeah.
Like, get this, they say that something like 75 million to 375 million workers
Wow.
might need to switch careers by 2030 because of AI.
That's a huge EE range, right?
I know, it's like 3% to 14% of the global workforce.
And the thing is, AI is probably going to hit low-skill jobs hardest.
Yeah.
Like administrative tasks, construction, logistics, all those could be vulnerable.
So this isn't just like some abstract economic problem.
No.
This is real people's lives, their ability to provide for their families.
Absolutely.
Like, what can we even do to make sure AI doesn't leave millions of people behind?
Well, there's an update to the Liberties piece.
Okay.
It mentions a study by the IMF, and it shows that, adapting to AI, it's not easy for everyone.
Oh, right.
Young people and folks with college degrees, they've got an advantage.
They can adapt quicker.
Yeah, they can update their skills faster for this new AI-driven world.
So then what does that leave everyone else at a disadvantage?
Unfortunately, yeah, a significant portion of the workforce.
It's almost like a fast-moving train,
Okay.
and not everyone's got a ticket.
I like that analogy. It really captures the urgency of the situation, and it actually leads perfectly into the second disadvantage Liberties brings up. Okay.
Lack of transparency in AI.
Oh.
So put simply, imagine you're using an app.
Right.
Gives you terrible advice, but you have absolutely no idea why.
Oh, man, that's frustrating.
It is, and that's the problem with these black box algorithms.
Right.
We don't always know how AI makes its decisions.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to be sure that things are fair or unbiased.
It's almost like being judged by, a shadowy figure behind a curtain.
Yeah.
You're, left wondering, what factors are they even considering? Is it even fair? Is it accurate?
And Liberties highlights a real-world example of this.
Oh, okay.
A defendant named Eric Loomis
Uh-huh.
received a longer sentence based on this AI risk assessment tool.
What?
It's called Compass,
Mm-hmm.
but no one, not even the judge, understood how Compass reached its conclusion.
That's unsettling. To think that, someone's fate could be decided by an algorithm, but we don't even know how it works. It is. And it gets even more unsettling when you consider how AI can be used to spread disinformation.
Yeah.
Which is actually the fifth disadvantage that Liberties talks about.
Oh, right.
And they have a really striking example. A deepfake video manipulated a speech by the Belgian Prime Minister.
Oh, wow.
Spreading misinformation about COVID-19 and the environment.
It's scary how realistic deepfakes are getting.
It is.
And it's not just deepfakes, right?
Yeah.
AI bots can, churn out incredibly convincing fake news and social media posts.
Oh, absolutely.
It's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's fake online.
That's the danger. It undermines our trust in institutions and fuels societal divisions.
That's almost like a weaponization of information. And it's a threat we need to take seriously.
Absolutely. We can't ignore it. And speaking of things we can't ignore,
Yeah.
the environmental impact of all this,
Right.
while AI has, potential to help with sustainability efforts, there's a concerning trade-off.
Liberties mentions that, training a single AI model can produce a massive amount of CO2 emissions.
Yeah.
They said it's the equivalent of 125 flights from New York to Beijing.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
It is. And that's not even counting the environmental impact of building the data centers and mining the materials for all this AI infrastructure.
That's a huge consideration.
So AI could help us fight climate change,
True.
but it's also contributing to the problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality. We can't just blindly embrace AI without thinking about its environmental footprint.
Right, right. And then there's that last disadvantage Liberties covers, big tech domination of AI.
Yeah.
It's no secret that companies like Google and Facebook, Amazon,
Right.
they're pouring tons of resources into AI research and development.
Oh, yeah, they're buying up smaller AI startups like crazy.
Liberties mentions that Google alone has acquired over 30 AI companies.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of power in the hands of, like, just a few companies.
Right. It raises some serious questions.
Like, what are the implications of all this?
Well, these companies already control a massive amount of data.
Yeah.
And now they're shaping the future of AI.
It's true.
It's a situation that could, lead to a lack of competition, stifle innovation.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how they'll use their AI capabilities. Will it be for the benefit of society or just for their own profit?
It's a good question we all need to be asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does make you think, doesn't it? All that power, just a few companies. So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have
Those 7 disadvantages: unemployment, lack of transparency,
biased algorithms,
right? Profiling,
disinformation,
environmental impact.
and this last one, big tech domination.
Like, it's kind of overwhelming when you put it all together like that. It makes
Mhm.
you think, what can I even do about any of this?
That's true. They are complex issues with big implications. But I think it's important to remember that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Knowing these risks, how do we make sure that AI benefits like society as a whole,
Right.
not just a powerful few? What steps can we take to, advocate for ethical AI development?
Well, staying informed seems like a good first step, right?
Absolutely.
The more we understand about AI, what it can do, the downsides, the better we'll be able to engage in these discussions and demand accountability.
Knowledge is power,
Yeah.
We also need to support those organizations like liberties.u,
Right.
the ones who are working to protect our rights in this digital age.
That's a good point.
Huh.
But sometimes I feel like those organizations are, preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
How do we reach the people who aren't already worried about this stuff?
That's the question, isn't it? It's about finding ways to make these issues relatable to people's lives. For example, how AI-powered facial recognition is being used for surveillance.
Oh, yeah.
Or how algorithms can be used to discriminate against people, like when they're applying for loans.
Right. What about the role of government and regulation?
Regulation is critical.
Yeah.
We need clear guidelines to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly.
Okay.
This means addressing, bias, transparency, data privacy.
So we basically need to, like, create an AI babysitter,
A babysitter.
someone to make sure this powerful technology doesn't throw a tantrum and break all our toys.
Not quite a babysitter, but we do need to, set boundaries, make sure that AI doesn't overstep and infringe on our fundamental rights.
I guess it's less like being a babysitter and more like being a responsible parent.
Like that.
Setting boundaries, but also nurturing that potential for good.
Exactly. And it can't just be reacting after things go wrong.
Right.
We have to anticipate potential problems and put safeguards in place.
So it's a multi-pronged approach: staying informed, supporting advocacy groups,
Pushing for responsible regulation.
working together.
Precisely. It's a collective effort. We all have a stake in this.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that AI aligns with, human values,
Okay.
like fairness, justice, compassion.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values we build into it, making sure we're using this incredible power responsibly. It feels like we're at this turning point with AI.
Yeah.
So much potential, but we've seen the risks too.
It really is like standing at the edge of this vast uncharted territory,
Well,
We see those incredible discoveries, advancements.
Right.
But there are those dangers lurking,
Like, we need to be prepared for both,
Mhm.
right? Can't just focus on the shiny possibilities and forget about the potential pitfalls.
Absolutely. Finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Being realistic about the challenges AI brings, but also staying optimistic about, how it can improve our lives.
So how do we make sure that we're using this incredible power responsibly?
Right.
What can we do as individuals to, like, shape the future of AI?
Well, we talked about staying informed, supporting those advocacy groups.
Right.
But there's also things we can do personally.
Okay.
Being mindful of the data we share online.
Oh, right.
Supporting companies that are developing AI ethically.
Yeah, that's a good point. We hear so much about data privacy, but it's easy to forget how much we're giving away all the time.
It is.
It's like leaving this trail of digital breadcrumbs everywhere we go.
Exactly. And those breadcrumbs, they can be used to paint a pretty detailed picture of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, who we are, what we do, what we believe. It's important to be aware of that and make conscious choices.
So it's not just about, like, protecting ourselves. It's about shaping the future we want to see, right?
Yeah,
A future where AI is used for good, not for, like, manipulation or control.
absolutely. Making sure it reflects our values.
Just the values of, like, the people who are building it.
Exactly.
Speaking of values, earlier you mentioned that AI could help us tackle some of the world's biggest challenges. Can you talk about that more? Like, what kind of positive impact could we see?
Well, imagine a world where AI helps us develop like cleaner energy,
Okay, yeah.
personalizes education,
Wow.
or even, finds cures for diseases, things like cancer.
That's incredible.
It really is. Those are just a few examples of what AI could do.
It's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're on the verge of something totally new.
Yeah, it feels that way. But we can't forget AI is a tool.
Right.
Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Depends on the person using it.
Exactly.
So as we wrapped up this deep dive,
Yeah.
let's leave our listeners with this thought. AI is becoming more and more a part of our lives.
hmm
It's up to each of us to, like, really think critically about what that means.
Yeah,
Advocate for responsible development.
right. We need to ask ourselves, how can we make sure that AI serves humanity,
Right.
not the other way around? How can we shape this technology so that the future is both innovative and just?
Those are great questions, something to think about for sure. And as always, we encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep into this world of AI. Thanks for joining us today.